Revolutionary greetings to my brothers in Africa and sisters, and brothers and sisters in diaspora. It has been a month I have been away. I had a lot to do. I had a lot of content to research, but I think I'm fine. Today, my brothers and sisters, I greet you and hope that we can engage and discuss this very important subject, which I think we should have post-liberation, have prioritized as one of the things we should do as leaders of Africa and the African people. During the transition, we should have then as a priority decolonized the education and so ensured that the African people are emancipated mentally. Today, I want us to look at how can we go on a process of conducting what is called the mindset shift by the African people. Very important, I want us to look at today why Africans haven't changed their discourse. Today, we are all still a continent that is referred to as a third world continent, the developing continent. Yet we hold all the natural resources that sustain the world's economy. I want to highlight something very important, which I think is a contributing factor to why Africa is still lagging behind. All our lives, by the system that has been created deliberately, post-colonization, in independence, having attained our franchise, choosing our government, but we failed to ensure that we emancipate the people from the colonized mentality and systems, which then translate to total emancipation of our people. The one that I want to highlight is the one that continues to hold us back as Africans. We have been socially orientated. We have been socially groomed, socially developed, and indoctrinated that job security for Africans is the best route to go than wealth security. All our lives, we have been motivated to go and study, be educated, for the sake of getting employed to empower, to give profits, maximum profits, to conglomerates that are owned by our colonizers. We get employed to ensure that we are the consistent consumer of their products. We have been indoctrinated to think that way, that the only way out of our poverty, of our inequality, is through job security rather than wealth security. All our lives, we have not been taught that in the life toolbox, education is amongst the tools, not the only tool. And by being taught such, we have suppressed the most important tools in the life toolbox that will get us to reach new horizons as a people, as a nation. Our hormones, specifically those that speaks to survival and risk-taking, have been suppressed by this job security mentality, the job security indoctrination, the job security programming, the job security grooming. Africans have been taught that you cannot take a risk. You cannot then see yourself surviving against all odds because of the job security mentality that has been filtered in our social strata. Always Africans have been told that through education and work only, you cannot make it. Africans having acquired skills in university, having worked in companies and developed products for companies to make profits and be rich and be conglomerates. Africans have not chosen to leave their companies and start their own companies, leave the companies that they are employed in, because they believe job security is the only way. Through job security, you can be successful. You can reach new horizons. That is how we have been indoctrinated. This systematically has been implemented so that it maintains the order of keeping Caucasians and Asians the superior races and the superior nations. This has made us not to even tap into our creative subconscious. This has suppressed the survival and risk-taking modes. It suppresses our inventive subconscious. It suppresses our creative subconscious. It suppresses our innovative subconscious. Because we believe that we have to be educated so that we can be employed. That is our only security. That is our only prosperity. That is the only way you can be able to be happy. By not being free, by being enslaved. Enslaved for other races to be superior, to control the economy, to control your natural resources. Africa has suffered for too long. Africans should turn the tide. Africans should engage in a process and a program of emancipating themselves from mental slavery, believing that when you go to a workplace, you go to acquire experience so that you can create your own, develop your own, seek wealth security than that of job security. Because wealth security gives you power. It gives you absolute authority. That is what we need to regain dignity and respect in this earth and universe. Africans need to engage in this program so that we can see the Black Lives Matter movement being a success in Africa and the whole world. We will not be respected until we take over the economy. We take over the means of production. And that can be done because we control the natural resources. We only need to add value to our products so that we can substitute job security with wealth security. While still on the subject of mindset shift, as we have transitioned from being colonized to being masters of our own destiny, I want us to look at our own country as South Africa. 6 years later, we're still grappling with the issue of free education. What our liberation movement did, it neglected the fundamentals, the founding principles of our constitution, which we adopted in 1955, the Freedom Charter. That is the fundamental document that supports our constitution. We have neglected it. And all these clarion calls we made because we understood that we have to arrive at the agrarian state. And to arrive at the agrarian state, we had to implement these clarion calls. And we have implemented them. Before we even arrived in free education, we knew that this clarion call will be a call subsequently. Because inequality continues in our societies, in our communities. Yet, we are the owners of the land. Yet we are the owners of the natural resources. So South Africa could have done better in the preparation of all this turmoil so that it cannot happen. We could have done better and we can still do better. We have an opportunity to change this discourse. We have an opportunity to align our planning with that of the continent. South Africa now is facing the issue again of free education. When we, as the new government, the government of transition, have an opportunity and had an opportunity when we pronounced the first 2 universities that were to be built by a government of national unity, by a government of democratic dispensation. And we never seized that opportunity. That opportunity would have been a pilot project to implement a free education discourse. And that would have assisted and complemented the cause of the Africa Free Trade Agreement. It would have then really decolonized our education. It would have then decolonized our framework, our developmental framework as a continent. Because really with those educations establishment, with those institutions establishment, new higher education establishment, we would have then translated the free education agenda and the Pan-African agenda, which seeks to speak to the African Renaissance. It would have been, these universities would have been landmark universities for the continent to spearhead the Africa Free Trade Agreement, to ensure that all the African countries do develop African-made products, proudly developed by their own countries, as former President Thabo Mbeki has envisaged. We have implemented the proudly South African products. We still have to go further. Few products we have developed and invented that are proudly South African. We still have many to develop. And that's the route for the Africa Free Trade Agreement. For us to see this vision through, these aspirations and dreams of our forebears, some of them have laid the foundation. Your Mansa Musa, the first higher education, civilized higher education in the world, in the continent, and in the whole planet, was built in Africa, in Timbuktu. Our forebears had the vision. Your Williams, your Marcus Garvey, your Kwame Nkrumah, your Empire Haile Selassie, your Oliver Tambo. The Pan-African agenda still stands. For us to achieve the United States of Africa, we have to take that route. For us to see Africans being respected all over the world, to regain our dignity and respect, we have to take this route. We have to re-establish these universities to speak to these programs, the Pan-African Agenda program. We have an opportunity as a country and as a continent that these 2 universities, which were to be built and are still being established in Mpumalanga and the Northern Cape, are built to speak to African issues and to have an African curriculum that speaks and translates to African projects that will totally emancipate Africa from the bondages that hold them of their colonial masters. Africa has a chance, but it is us who must say now, let us not procrastinate our future. Let us speak to the contrary. Let us stop our politicians telling the youth and the young adults that the future belongs to us. No, no, no. The present belongs to us. There should be nothing about us without us. Before I finish this debate and dialogue with you, my African brothers, let me pay a tribute to a friend and a comrade. I'm paying a tribute to Thabo Welcome Matsane, who is a true philanthropist that I have seen in my lifetime. I put him in the same pedestal and the same platform with your Michael Jackson, African philanthropist. A lot of things will be said about you. A lot of bad publicity will be said about you. But those of us who know you, who have seen what you have done, the hope that you have given to our people, that will continue to live. We say to you, we hope you will get to rest and have to rest eternally and have eternal peace. And tell our forebears and our ancestors that we have taken the baton and we will continue this revolution, this struggle, to ensure that our people do arrive at the agrarian state, the state that will be a people's government, a social-orientated framework state, a state that puts the people first and ensures that their security and comfort is protected by the elite and the politicians. I want to convey and put one quote to our politicians and those who aspire to be politicians and our academias and civil society and the religious community, that as you claim to advocate for the people, bear in mind this statement which was made by a brother. His name is Bob Marley, who passionately loved Africa and believed in the United States of Africa, a one Africa with one solution. This quote goes by saying, I open quote, "Don't gain the world and lose your soul. Wisdom is better than silver and gold." I close quote. So I forward. I thank you.